I'm late, okay? I'm honestly going to say I'm late to this, but right after we watched Israel Adesanya pick Derek Brunson apart, I fell asleep and woke up with this. Israel Adesanya is the next big star in the UFC. Outside of his talent standing up and fighting, he is a phenomenal talker, a phenomenal promoter of himself. He can talk very, very well, and it looks like it's centered around a younger audience, or like that audience that's between the age of 15 and 25. The Complex decision. They did a lot of stuff with Complex. Daniel Cormier, Israel Adesanya was there. Chris Weidman was at Complex. They did a lot of stuff, and they're trying to promote themselves to a younger market. And if you look at this, obviously that's a smart idea. If more kids are getting into MMA, if more kids are watching MMA, you're gonna get more kids into MMA. And if you get more kids into MMA, you're gonna have greater stars down the line. The more people that are fighting, the better for all these companies. So obviously, this publicity is good publicity, and Israel Adesanya is the perfect man for the job. Also, combining that with the fact that he represents a completely different area of the world. He represents New Zealand, and he's Nigeria. He's just everything. This guy represents the world. He's been all around it. And now he's coming to the States, and he's just adjusting so well. He was at a basketball game looking great, talking great. He trash-talked Brunson very, very well. Brunson looks scared out there. He was shooting for takedowns, but Israel Adesanya is so damn big, he's holding him off him. So he just has all those star qualities. That's what I wanted to start with. And now let's go into the middleweight division. If Gastelum loses and Whittaker wins, Israel Adesanya has put himself against Whittaker. Like, I know Jacare is probably the next in line when it comes to respect in MMA and rankings and who's next in line, who's earned their shot. Jacare is above Israel. But Israel Adesanya brings up the good point with New Zealand versus Australia right around that region. Because you want to build markets outside the UFC. Nowadays, you're huge in America. You're probably pretty massive in Canada. Down here, we're watching it. Pulled that train for you. And you have the UK. The UK is getting big. Mike Bisping, Till, Leon Edwards. They have a bunch of talent from there. And now they have Whittaker and Adesanya, and that's going to be huge. I would make a trilogy of that if I possibly could. I would fight them back to back. If Gastelum wins, obviously it's dependent on the result of Gastelum Whittaker. If Gastelum wins, everything's good. Gastelum fights Jacare Souza because he's next in line. Whittaker fights Israel Adesanya. Now everybody's talking Israel Adesanya is going to fight Anderson Silva or Yoel Romero or a heavy wrestler, a power wrestler. Dumb decision if I was the UFC. Would stray away from that fight 100%. Costa would be fun. That would be a fun fight. I don't think it's good for Adesanya. Fun fight for us, the fans. And if he won that fight, if Adesanya won that fight, he's next in line. He's next in line. Give Souza his shot. Let this Whittaker Gastelum stuff boil over. And then Adesanya is next. I'm thinking Adesanya is going to be that middleweight champion at the end of 2019. He said it. I tend to believe him. There's not that many people in that top 5 that are really going to give Israel Adesanya. They're not technically bad matchups for him. They're not really good wrestlers. They're all going to stand up with you. They might shoot for a takedown here and there, but Gastelum's not known for great wrestling. He's a decent wrestler. Whittaker's the same. They're both focused on stand-up. Gastelum has more power. Whittaker has more skill. That's a fun fight. But Adesanya, I think, beats both of them. You might disagree, but I think that Adesanya's stand-up and his big frame to stop decent wrestlers, like Brunson's a good wrestler, and Brunson shot 3 or 4 times, and he stopped all of them. Against the fence, he had good clinch work. He uses his frame. And those long guys are always going to do good. He's a lot like John Jones. I know he doesn't like that comparison, probably because John Jones has done some delinquent things, but skill-wise, I would take that as a massive compliment, and I think it's bearing true. These two fighters are a lot similar, and they're winning. They're winning a lot. John Jones and Adesanya are winning. Adesanya is still undefeated. John Jones is technically undefeated. I like that comparison, and if Adesanya can keep it in line, if he can stay on the radar, stay on the good track, I think that he's going to be the biggest star, maybe one of the biggest stars in the UFC at the end of 2019 with the middleweight strap around his shoulder. And then perception creates reality. Chael Sonnen likes to say that. I love Chael Sonnen, so we'll play with that. Perception becomes reality. So what does that mean? That means the perception of Adesanya. If Adesanya becomes that big, he gets that perception, and he could probably be declared the greatest middleweight of all time if he keeps winning and keeps promoting himself as he is. Now just, again, hear me out here. Anderson Silva is probably the greatest middleweight of all time so far up to now. He had that crazy defense streak. He was levels above every one of his time. Now he started to fall off. That perception has started to fall off. And if Israel can pick up at this point and go in there and beat Anderson Silva, because he can still fight Anderson Silva. They're looking at Anderson Silva. I want to postpone Israel Adesanya if they don't want to give Adesanya the title shot right away. I'm postponing Adesanya with Anderson Silva just so Jacare could go in, fight, because he's earned it. Jacare Souza has earned it. Keep Israel on the side, and then if they use him properly and they put him in a good matchup, and you could throw in a really hard fight as sometimes his game is ever improving, I think you could make a name with Adesanya, and I think that in about 3 years, I'm going to come out and give it a bold prediction. I said it on my Instagram. I'm going to say it now. I think he's going to be declared the greatest middleweight of all time within the next 2 to 3 years. I think so. He could still lose a couple fights and be declared better than Anderson Silva. And he's the best thing we've seen so far in that division. So just keep in mind my voice telling you, Adesanya is on the come up, and he's not going to come down. If he gets to the top, he's not coming down. So be sure to keep watch of that guy. That guy 100% is going to be a superstar in the UFC, whether you like him or you don't. He attracts fans. He has an amazing fighting style for promotion and what the UFC wants. He's a stylistic nightmare for a ton of people. And just being the size that he is, he creates a massive base for those who want to take him down. Obviously, the wrestlers are the worst matchup for him, but I still think he can hold his own against a lot of them. And every fight starts standing up. Obviously, if you're going to get a Khabib or Daniel Cormier, which you don't have in that middleweight division, I don't see a Khabib or Daniel Cormier. Obviously, that's going to be an issue for him. Maybe Yoel Romero, but nobody in there is going to ragdoll him. And he has that stand-up skill like McGregor and that knockout power that he showed against Brunson. Even though Brunson was knocked out, he's been knocked out before. Brunson, he's wild out there. So it was a good win for Adesanya, and I think Adesanya is going to do very, very well for himself. So keep a lookout for that. But that's going to wrap it up for my Israel Adesanya prediction. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you're watching in the day, have a great day. If you're watching at night, have a great night. And in that comment section below, I want you guys to let me know what you guys think is going to happen to Adesanya after 3 years. Where do you think he's going to be? You think he's going to be mid-level, champion, greatest of all time, or bum? You let me know. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, okay?